But what can you do? The picture book turned theatrical production next on City Corner. I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome to City Corner. Well, how does a picture book go from the page to the stage? Well, we're gonna learn all about that today when it comes to But What Can You Do? This is a picture book written by mother-daughter author duo Arika Parr and Ava Johnson. And then Metro Theater came along. They're the third oldest professional theater company in St. Louis, and they turned it into a theatrical production. So we're gonna learn all about that in the first half of the show. And in the second half, we're gonna learn what Metro has in store for the rest of the 24-25 season. But first, let's talk about But What Can You Do? I'm joined by Jacqueline Thompson, Artistic Director of Metro Theater Company, and Arika Parr, who is the co-author of the book, as well as the founder of your publishing company, Ava Mommy Publishing. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to see you both. And we've got the book here on set. We've got the graphics. First, let's start off, because coming up soon is the production for the public, coming up March 26th. So what can people expect?
Expect a whole weekend of activation around the play. We have Friday night, we have an opening night reception with a concert followed by Aloha Michelle, who's the lead in the production, and Alicia Reve-like. Alicia is the composer for the show. That Saturday, we have a What Can You Do Day, but what can you do day? With all types of stations and interactive things for families to take advantage of between the shows. There's a 10:30 show and a 2 o'clock show. I hope I got that.
That's correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
And then Sunday, we have a tea afterwards. They'll be able to meet the cast, meet Arika and Ava. So whole weekend full of events surrounding the production.
So we've got that. We've got some graphics for that and going through sort of the cast. So Jackie, and I can, Jacqueline, Jackie. I also call you as we look at the graphics. You also directed.
Yes, I did.
Directed the play. So how was that? I mean, did you feel, does it feel the pressure normally when you're doing stuff and the author is somebody that you know and is, in this case, sitting right next to you, but how was that?
I don't know if you remember this, but I met Arika actually here.
Really?
Here at STL TV, did you?
On STL TV. I was directing a show at UMSL, and you interviewed my student and I.
What?
Yeah. I know.
It all happens here at STL TV.
I want to remind you that.
Thank you.
So, met you here, and then when the book came out, I saw it on Facebook, I think, and I wanted to buy it for my nephew and my godson, and we connected, I think, via Facebook, and she was talking about what it would look like to self-produce it. Maybe a month later, I got hired at Metro, and we were looking for something for the season. And so we've been saying this word serendipitous a lot throughout this production. Things have just aligned in the most beautiful way. It made sense as a local mother and daughter author. The story aligns with Metro's mission. So like they say, the rest is history.
And that's everything's there. And that's great. And I didn't realize too that there's music in it.
Yeah.
And so when you were, Arika, when you were writing this with your daughter, I mean, did you even think, did you think that this would actually make it to the stage at the time?
It was not even a thought. It was just, the book is based off of Ava's real life, right? She's 9 years old now, 3rd grade. But when we started writing the book, she was 8. And it's based on her challenge, her quest to do the cartwheel, right? Every kid wants to learn how to do a cartwheel. It's a very relatable story. And when she couldn't do it, she would come home, and I used to give her like positivity like moms do. Oh, it'll be okay, sugar. You'll be able to do it later. And then one day, I don't know, something about the situation changed, because this was like years in the making, like pre-K, kindergarten, 1st grade, like she was struggling. But then one day I just kind of tapped in and leaned in and said, you know what, let's talk about this more, because it's not going away. And I think at that moment, I really wanted Ava to know what was a big deal to her when she was 5 years old is gonna be a big deal when she's 15, when she's I'm thinking like ahead, right? And so I just kind of sat down with her and asked her, you can't do a cartwheel yet, but what can you do? And I had her write a list of all the things that she felt like she was great at, all the things that she was an expert at. And that was the basis of our book. And so that it was really a lesson in encouraging my daughter that turned into this big blessing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a lot. I know, over the years we've interviewed sometimes with kids start a organization or their own business, but to really sit down with a mom, with your child, like mom, sit down with mom and say, let's write this book? I mean, how was that process? Did it bring you guys together? Were there any sort of quarrels in there too? Or?
Not really. Well, the name of our publishing company is Ava and Mommy, and I'm just the mommy. So you see how that went. She's the boss. But she wrote a list about all the things that she could do. And then that list was the basis. And from there, it kind of developed, it did develop into our book. And Ava's biggest claim to fame with everything was the illustrations. She chose what her illustration would look like. The barrettes in the character's hair are real barrettes. Like I sent pictures in to the artist, and Ava was really like, nope, I don't want, my hair is not that way. I usually wear it in braids. It's not like this. It's too poofy, Mom.
Yeah.
So she really helped with the illustrations and stuff. So we were at a school today, and one of the parents or the teachers was like, I think my daughter has those barrettes. I said, yeah, because they're real barrettes.
Yeah.
They're real clips. So it's real life. And that's what I love.
It's so neat to be able to see that. And we've got some photos too that you've gone throughout the community speaking at. I mean, I've seen, at least on your website, different libraries. I think some of the pictures we have, you've done readings. So how's the response been?
So St. Louis.
Yeah.
I love it. Community I've never felt more a part of the community. People that I've known, people who I've never known, right? People who are interested, parents and kids alike, just really gravitate to the story. And I'm just so grateful for it, because it's a relatable story. Everybody has a challenge.
Yeah.
Everybody has a cartwheel, So
I love that. And I mean, when we get on the artistry side, when you're taking a picture book, right? And you know the author, you met here at SBL TV. I love that. We're going to insert ourselves in there. What are the steps then? So you had this idea, you're like, this is a great book. I know Arika. It's my first year as artistic director at Metro. And then how does it go from there?
Yeah, so the first thing we talked about was getting a playwright to do the adaptation, right? To take the book and extend it out in that way. So we contracted Maya Gary, who I worked with on a previous project. And for me, it was, honoring their story and making sure that everything was integral and that Arika and Ava were in the center of things. They have been in rehearsal processes. And I want to say too, and I hope I say this enough, how grateful I have been for her partnership, bringing in people from the community. We've had therapists and parents and children and educators, you name it, in the room workshopping the piece to make sure that it was relatable and making sure that, it was, that it aligned with all the things that these students need as it relates to thematically what the show is about. So just super grateful for that.
Oh, same.
And that's really important too. I mean, I think there's a more heightened level and conscientiousness and intentionality, as you mentioned, that work that, on the artistic side, you see this a lot in films, that it's still able to connect. And that's great that the community support, the community engagement, and then your partnership as well. And so we've got some cast photos. So how does it feel watching Aloha Michelle as your daughter?
I love it. When Jackie talked about it being serendipitous, like Aloha graduated from the same school I did. The woman who plays the mommy character, we have the same name. She graduated from the school Ava goes to. Like everything, the actor that plays Ava's dad in the production looks very similar to Ava's dad, all of it. And it was not like by choice. I mean, not by choice, it just happened. And so just to see Aloha come to life, I've had people come to me and say, she is the essence of Ava. Aloha is so great. Her eyes light up. Her being is a 9-year-old girl, 8-year-old girl, so she does. The whole cast does a great job. Aloha does great, and her voice is wonderful. So it was Jackie did a great job.
That's really great to hear. Is that when you're directing, I mean, is that sort of always in your mind too, especially obviously knowing Arika and then with Ava, knowing here she is, this 9-year-old right here, to sort of emphasize that to the cast?
We wanted to center, and I had exactly the right people in the room to center joy and center play. And also as a director, giving them space to explore these characters, not for me to dictate how everything should be, but they have spent time with them as well. So how to honor their essence and their spirit in the play. I think that we were all very intentional of that, and everyone takes it very seriously too, making sure that we're honoring them.
And that's felt, right? And so thank you, and I honor you for that. It's like, every time I talk to her or go to Metro or see the play, I want to cry. Because it's just so surreal. you know, and this is my baby's story. And Ava's just watching it. This is like a Wednesday for her. Like, oh, she's so used to everybody, right? And she doesn't know, I don't think she gets now, like, this is huge. She's grateful all the time and very respectful and loves it. And she just loves Aloha and all the Metro people and gets very shy.
No, I really appreciate you saying that too, because I think Metro has a long history too when you talk about of reaching as a theater for young audience, a company for doing theater for young audiences, of really capturing in such a brilliant way in each production this, as you mentioned, the essence, capturing those feelings and sentiments that young people feel. And in this case, taking literally the picture book and kind of reworking it. And I love that with like the team. So when we get to the Sun Theater coming up, so that's March 26th through the 30th that weekend. I mean, what ages, for folks listening to this, what ages is this geared towards? What's like the, you know, what are people going to expect and experience?
Yeah, you know, I think that there's something in this play for everybody. So I don't even want to say, oh, it's just for K2 or it's just for that. Because like Arika said, as adults, we still have cartwheels. We still need to hear, okay, let me think about all the things why I'm struggling to get to this one thing that I can't accomplish yet right now. What are the things that I can do well? And so that is a reminder for everyone. And again, we'll have so many interactive things that I think it's a family event.
It really is.
Yeah, that's great. And what are you looking forward to? I mean, you've been kind of going around. You just came from a school this morning. So, I mean, you've been out in the community. What were you most looking forward to for this, like, for the public performance weekend?
Jackie kind of said it earlier, joy. You know, like once when Ava was in pre-K, they did like words, the teachers assigned words to kids and that was her word. And it's true. And it's just like, who knew that adjective to describe my daughter would also now be at the center of this communal thing that we are creating right now. And so like, I can't wait for more of the community to be in collaboration with us and be in community with us and feel that joy. And it is, like she said, it's a family thing. The book, they did such a great job in echoing what I wanted to keep true from the book to the play. So my village is very strong. Our village is very strong, and that is represented in the play as well.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you both being here to share that, and thank you. We're going to put the information up for you on the screen right there. Go check it out. It's coming up March 26th through the 30th. But what can you do? I know we talked about, we're going to get into the emphasis, but what can you do? There's a lot of ways you can say that, but Metro Theater is presenting this. It's their production March 26th through the 30th at the Sun Theater. For tickets, go to metroplays.org. And then we're also going to put up information so you can check out Ava Mommy Publishing. This is where you can purchase the book, as well as some other merchandise connected to the book that you didn't see here on set, but there's bags and some other stuff. So go to avaandmommy.com. Thank you again. Thank you. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back more with Metro Theater Company when we return. Stay with us.
Did you know that you can watch STL TV on your smartphone or tablet? That's right. STL TV is available on your Android or iOS mobile devices. And that includes our live broadcast channels as well as video on demand content. It is really easy to get started. Just find the App Store on your device, then search for Cablecast. Select it and click to install. Launch the app, and if you're in the St. Louis area, STL TV should be the first channel to show up. If you're not in the area, you may have to scroll down to find it. So just click on the STL TV logo, and in just a few seconds, you're enjoying STL TV's great programming such as City Corner, Inside Sports, City Government, What's the 314, or my personal favorite, In the Kitchen.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew a girl so.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
I'm Sarah Thompson and welcome back to City Corner. I'm joined by Jacqueline Thompson. She's the artistic director of Metro Theater Company. In the first half of the show, we were talking about, we've got the But What Can You Do, the upcoming production at the Sun Theater. That's March 26th through the 30th. And now we're gonna kind of cover what's left in the rest of the season. It's hard to believe, huh? That halfway through the season.
I know, and this is our last show of the season, but we still have family events like Baby Rave. That's something that we started this year, which has been we talked about joy in the first segment.
Yeah.
I don't know that I fully realize how much joy seeing the families just come and just have a baby dance party. We were at the art museum this past week. We'll be at the Magic House in April, but it's just a really great way to have parents and guardians bring out their little ones to just literally just play and dance and eat some snacks.
I love looking at the pictures. I mean, this is a little bit, so how did this kind of, the idea for this and come about? Because this is sort of a departure, something new that Metro hasn't done in the past. It's not a traditional, play. It's not on a stage. So how did this all kind of happen?
I have to give 100% credit to the artistic producing team before I even got there. When I came into Metro last year around this time, they were gearing up to start this, this project. And no one knew how it would land or, how people would receive it. But we've gotten so many people that had never heard of Metro and had never even went to a play that, heard about it through a mom's group or, saw a flyer. And, it has really expanded the community in that way, expanded our community in that way. So, I mean, kudos to our producing side.
I love that. So how does it work? Like when we'll look at a few more of the pictures, but what did you show up? It's ages, it's for babies, obviously.
It was funny. We had something on the flyer that said, 4 and under, but we won't be looking at IDs. So we have, I would say like kindergarten, 5 and under. But again, we have a lot of families that come through that have, older kids, but they come in, they have all types of props. We have snacks, we have different, playstations, we have a quiet room, we have a nursing room.
Okay.
So it was really set up, to be accessible for families and all of their needs. Yeah.
And then the music, because we see the DJ and Rave. So the music is is it always playing or is
it's always playing. It's at a volume that is appropriate for our little ones. Yeah. And it is literally that. It is a dance party.
That's great. No, it's a great way to expand your audiences and get more folks into Metro or to learn better about Metro. I love that. I'm glad that you're doing that out at different locations. I didn't realize. So we're going to be sure to plug that before or at the end of the show. Yeah. And then I wanted to mention too, you're doing like virtual field trips. So a lot of people, know Metro Theater Company for all the plays and the productions that we've talked about, but you have a pretty strong education department.
Absolutely.
And so talk about the virtual field trip and Jacked by Idris Goodwin.
Jacked was something that came out, I guess, maybe 2021, right during the heart of the pandemic when we were still trying to figure out programming in a more interactive and virtual way. And Jack was birthed from that. And it's funny, Aloha Michaud, who is actually in But What Can You Do, who's playing Ava, is actually in this as well. And, it's still available for schools to stream, for classrooms that they cannot. I know, buses are a thing right now. And if there's, a creative way to see some art, this is this aligns perfectly.
Yeah, and I think there we are looking at a photo of it. So this is something that for any educators listening to this, that you can have come to your classroom directly between now and you've got, I saw that on the website, the playbill, and you've got the learning guide and everything sort of attached to it. And just so people know, when they saw that Jacked and they saw Jack and Beanstalk, briefly tell them what Jacked, it's a difference because it's Idris Goodwin. What is it about?
Idris, who's one of my favorite playwrights, he found a really clever way to talk about addiction through that story. And that's something that I always have respected and admired about Metro. We don't shy away from dealing with hard things. You know, we honor the emotional intelligence of young people, and we know that young people go through a lot of different challenges. And so this is an appropriate way to tackle those things while also, you know, having a creative lens to it, but also, you know, having a message that lands for, you know, students that may need that help in their life.
That's great. And then we're going to be sure to include that as well. And then summer camps. We wrap up, the season sort of ends like in the spring, but then there's summer before the new season kicks off. So Metro's been doing summer camps for a while now. The first one starting, we've got from middle school on June 2nd, and we've got some, we can throw up some images of that. I mean, like, I've always thought about this because I did, when I was in school, when I was about that age, looking right there, I did theater camp and was a lot more into theater. I mean, you don't have to be, I think sometimes when I talk to young, like, you know, friends of my kids or young people, they think that they have to be this like drama star to do theater camp, and you don't. So talk about like how the camps work for Metro.
I always tell people this. I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes people even think about my role and what I do as an actor and director and think that I was that kid, and I was not that kid. I was not the child that wanted to, you know, be on stage and have, like, I did not want to talk.
You're silent. You're the silent child.
I don't want to talk.
You were just shy.
I was shy, and probably more so introverted than just shy. Like, I don't want to do that. But I had teachers, educators, artists that saw something. You know, it might have been like, you know, we had like dare skits in school back in the day, and they would have, you know, again, just little skits. And I had teachers that were like, hey, you did that kind of well, right? So I always encourage parents and young people that if it's anywhere in you, try it. Try it. Lean into that fear, because your passion will overcome your fear. So it's not just about the kids that are like, I'm going to Broadway. It is for those other students that like, I have this creative passion. I don't know how to really like, you know, hone it in, but let me try. Let me try. So, and I think that, I know that our teaching artists are able to accommodate and support and encourage, you know, students that are on every spectrum of where they are artistically and how much they want to get out there. So
that's I appreciate that, hearing that, because I feel like I with even my kids and their friends, and we talk about that, like, hey, just go and try something, and you don't have to be the one person who's been in plays or in musicals since they were kids or commercials. It's like you can find that space. So we'll be sure to include that, but those start for middle and high school. And June 2nd and July 28th for the pre-K through 5th grade. And then I know, too, you wanted to mention, let's talk about the Spark campaign that you're doing. I mean, obviously, Metro Theater Company is a nonprofit organization. Nonprofits rely on grants and donations and obviously attendance, too, on the presentation side. But talk about the Spark campaign.
Yeah, we have a Spark campaign, and it is, you know, for anyone who wants to support the work that we do. We are in schools. We are in schools in the county, in the city, and we have programming and character education things, and just being able to make sure that we can program stories that center our community and also support local artists. And, you know, this time right now, it's just really hard to do that in the arts. And we're feeling that all over, not just in St. Louis, everywhere. So if there are people that are supporting Metro and enjoy the work that we do and see the importance in what we do, this is a time to be able to really give back.
So it's a fundraising campaign, and it's running, is it going to run, it's running for the, you know, indefinitely? It's not, or is it tied specifically to the season?
It was specifically for a year, and we started it in the fall. So there is definitely time to support.
To still be support.
And they can find that on our website. Ways to support.
Okay, that's great. And then, I mean, for you, when we talk about, this is your first year as artistic director. I know you've been involved with Metro Theater Company for years before that, but your first year as artistic director, how's it been for you?
It's been so fun. And I say that, you know, I've learned a lot in a short amount of time, but I think what is the most inspiring is that, number one, we have a phenomenal staff that's so dedicated and so intentional about the programming that we do, and just like good humans, good people. And also to be in the position to, again, create work for local artists. Like, but what can you do? All of the designers are local. You know, it's new work that they're creating. The first show of the season was a part of an anthology that will be, and it was a BIPOC superhero project. So just being able to tell a myriad of stories, being able to, again, uplift local musicians, artists, you know, creatives, that's been, you know, the highlight for me.
Yeah. Does it feel, when I think, because I've interviewed you from in the past when you were in a production, you know, then you were, you know, at teaching at UMSL, and I mean, you've had such a varied career. How does it feel more when you're in this artistic director role, like more business? Like, how do you still keep your that artist, like that passion of being an artist still alive, when sometimes you naturally, on the one hand, your job, it requires you to, as the artistic director, to do that, to keep that at the forefront, but then you also have to still keep in mind you're working alongside, you know, your Jesse, who's the executive director, and you guys are
amazing. Might I say, I think I'm still trying to figure that out. I think, to be honest, you know, because it is definitely more administrative, and at my core, I'm an artist, and I want to create, and I'm able to direct and all of those things, and I'm able to be a visionary in a way of, like, you know, what new shows have not been, you know, I won't say invented, but what have we not seen? I'm always very curious about, there's nothing that looks like that, or there's nothing that feels like that. So that's exciting. But to your point, thank you for that question, I'm trying to figure that out. Yeah.
Well, as you're saying this too, and you said visionary, you are a Visionary Award recipient. So I have no doubt, I mean, really no doubt that you're going to have great things, you know, happen, because it's just in you. I think since I've known you, it's just always been there. And it's I'm so excited I'm so thankful that you're here today, since we've been sharing gratitude here. Thankful that you're here today, and to talk about just all things Metro, and just, you know, kudos to your team and for what's left in the season.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. All right, well, we've got the information there for you on the screen. A few things to run over for Metro Theater Company, what's left in the 24-25 season. So there's April 5th and 24th. You saw the photos for Baby Rave. You should check that out. Then throughout the season, for educators, you can schedule a virtual field trip for your students to experience Jacked by Idris Goodwin. This is a virtual production. And then we mentioned the summer camp. So that's taking place starting this summer, June 2nd for middle and high school, and then summer camps for pre-K through 5th grade beginning July 28th. But all that information is on metroplays.org, and we've got that in for another screen for you. Metro Theater Company is located right there in the Grand Center Arts District off Washington Avenue, and that's the contact information, and be sure to follow them on their socials. I want to thank again Arika Parr, who was with us in the first segment, and again, Jacqueline Thompson, Artistic Director for Metro Theater Company. Thank you. And thank you at home for watching STL TV, and keep it right here on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.